Hey folks, this is Mickey G. You know those days where you worked for a company for 20 years and you retired with a gold watch and pension? Well, those days are practically gone. And when your retirement is not based on your terms, it makes it a little scary. And what about today's job market and the folks who have jobs but seem to take them for granted? Well, we'll talk about those things and other stuff in this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School. I was talking to my one of my neighbors yesterday about he'd been working with at Verizon. He got caught up in one of those corporate restructures, and they told him basically you're gone by 31 December.
Wow.
And he said, I was planning on going at least 3 to 4 more years before I retired, and they made that decision for me. And he said, and it's the severance package does not include health care. He said my wife, she hadn't worked in years, so she doesn't have any health care. So he and I could tell just talking to him, it was a stressor for him. He was trying to figure out what he was going to do, and he said, he got a son that's in college. He said, hopefully he'll be through with college, in another year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Or he said, then he'll come off my payroll, as he said. He said, so that'll make it a little bit better. He said, but I'm just really, really concerned about what we're going to do with healthcare. He said, it's so expensive, but you can't take a chance of not having it and having some kind of major illness or injury or something like that. And I said, yeah. I said, I understand what you're saying. I said, I really feel for you. I said, but it's hard, a little bit hard for me to sort of relate, because I said, I did my military career. I came in during a time when, we sort of had health care, promised to us. And after some legislation, it became sort of a reality. And I said, and plus now I got the benefit of the VA. So I said, it's one of those things. I said, knock on wood, that me and my wife, we don't worry about very much, because we're pretty much covered.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and that's why I was saying about, I don't know how the things are with the military now, because looking back, the medical side of thing wasn't a big deal for me. Like I say, my big deal was I was wanting to go to college, and I knew it was going to give me an opportunity to take college courses. That was sort of my reason for being in,
Mm-hmm.
But boy, now that I look back on it, I'm like, boy, I'm so glad that I made that decision, because with the medical situation the way it is right now,
that's right.
I don't know.
And that's how Uncle Sam gets over on you, because when it's time to make those important decisions is when you're young, and medical ain't even on your mind.
Mark, you're healthy, you're fit, you don't think about those kind of things,
Yeah.
But yeah, when you get older, when you start to have more medical problems, is when you need that that medical care, and it's just
So he's not old enough for Medicare yet?
Oh no, he's just in his 50s. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I'm thinking he's in his probably early to mid 50s.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm thinking. But no, he's not eligible for any of that kind of stuff yet. And he's going to have to find, he's going to find some health care insurance. And but you know how those corporate restructures, they call them, they look at those guys. They don't want to pay them guys retirements.
Right. They're the first ones they want to get rid of.
Yeah, they're the first ones to go. The guys at the bottom of the totem pole that's making much of nothing, that's been there for a few years, they know they ain't gonna get to the retirement period.
That's right.
They let them stay on, but that's those guys that's been with the companies for quite a while and probably making a decent salary. Yeah, he said. Yeah, he said I could see things were happening. I just just didn't know exactly what all was going to entail. He said, but I sort of saw things.
Oh yeah.
And then they came out and said, yeah, we're cutting the workforce, and you're one of them.
Well, see, that's one of the things that I have a problem with. Just like when I listen to all of this crap about the Democrats, and then when I listen to the supposed leaders of minority communities, which this affects everybody. But I mean, why don't you just tell the truth about the whole deal? These corporate people have all the leverage. They know when they're going to buy out. That's why, I mean, Enron showed these people, don't buy your stock with the company that you're with, because they'll pack up and leave your ass unless it's Uncle Sam or one of these corporations that's been around here for God knows how long. Man, you can't put your trust in them. And uh, Walmart is the perfect example in my eyes for people to open their eyes to see. And I don't understand those who are supposedly looking out for the little man don't show that. Essentially, as payback in my mind, the government is allowing those people like Walmart to essentially have slave labor. They work these people like a dog. They don't make them permanent. They keep them at that 38 hour per month, or is that week? What is it? Yeah, 38 hours. So they ain't considered full time.
Right.
And work them like a dog. Okay. Hell, it took an act of legislation for them to start closing on Thanksgiving and, let these people have a life. Okay. Then you don't pay medical because Uncle Sam is bailing them out because they're all qualified for Medicaid and SNAP. But yet they're working for Walmart. Walmart is not paying any payroll taxes. They're just making pure damn profit. So it's all wrapped up in it right there together. And to me, it's like a slave system. It's exactly what it is. And I think pretty much all of these large corporations do that. I mean, that's what Bezos was doing with, what is it, with the smile on the box?
Amazon.
Yeah, doing all that. He working the hell out of those people, and not really paying them, and telling this lie to the people across the country that, oh well, if we raise the minimum wage, we go into recession. No, you won't. That'll be another boat your ass can't buy. It's just a joke, and people just don't pay attention and don't see it. I know it ain't, and I know one person can't do nothing about it, but you ain't got nobody galvanizing these people. If the Democrats will play on that, we're looking out for the little man, but you do shit that's conducive to what the Republicans and conservatives are doing. It's like y'all are in it together, and you just written off a certain amount of people that are just going to be poor. They ain't got no way of getting out of that, but they sell those goods like, oh, work hard. And you can make it. You can get out of there. You're going to work hard and not get a damn thing.
Well, I mean, I think some of the problem is I shouldn't say they let, but companies like Walmart and Amazon and, some of the tech companies and all, they let them get so big that they can't almost do anything about it. I mean, they just let them get so big. And then, even though, people have always felt that the Democrats were the ones looking out for the little people, the people running the Democratic Party are not the little people.
Right.
They're the same billionaires as they've got in the other parties. So, yeah, it's just like you don't have a big advocate. I know Bernie Sanders tries to do his thing, and he says things about minimum wage. Matter of fact, I guess he's going to get with that young brother from here that was part of that protest thing, talk about, raising the minimum wage and things of that nature. But, I just look at it like they just don't have the political clout and, probably pretty much from, the voters to be able to do anything. It sounds good. It's to me, it's someone at least looking out for the people sort of at the bottom. But they just don't have the political clout to do anything. So they let them talk. They let them say what they've got to say.
Yeah.
But they know when it comes down to it that they don't have the political clout to do anything about it. And it just keeps going on as it's always been, And I don't know that the little people, if you will ever be able to be in a position to make a change. I just because
Well,
I mean,
no,
what are your options? I
yeah.
mean, what are you? Like I say, if it comes to Walmart or Amazon or Burger King or McDonald's or whatever, those service industry jobs are always going to be there.
Oh, no doubt.
And they're going to always have people who are going to need those kind of jobs, whether it's the young folks or the older folks who haven't maybe made good decisions along the way, and they find themselves, at their retirement years with really nothing to retire on. So it's just a sort of sad sort of situation that we've found ourselves in. And as you say, there's no easy answer. There's no one person that's going to solve all the problems. It's I guess it's just where we are in the world.
Yeah, and based on greed. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
how much more many billions can you get? I'm not saying be Robin Hood and start handing out you know stuff to people who ain't motivated themselves to get up and do nothing. But I think there's enough money. This country is rich enough to where even at a minimum, let people work for a livable wage.
Mm-hmm.
Let people work for but see, that capitalism is the one that's doing it. I mean, even like most of these companies, they talk about socialism, but only when it don't suits them. you know if you provide basic services for people living as a reward for it, not necessarily a reward, but you were born in this country, healthcare, being able to eat at a minimum, and then give them a livable wage. And then if you make the wrong decisions, then that's on you. It ain't but they got to make the money from the pharmaceuticals. That's why the medical ain't gonna never be like that. And then they want doctors to get compensated, which I think they should, but there should be some limits on that. They gouge the system, and then they send people when they go to this Medicaid, go to the doctor, then they send them the prescriptions to the pharmaceuticals, and then we need to run some tests on you. We're gonna go over there, so you're raping the government all over again. And who are you raping? You're raping us that work and pay taxes.
Yep.
Then you want to exclude the billionaires from paying taxes. So there's a fix. It's just that there is no political will to do it. And it just frustrates me, man. The more I sit up here and think about it, I am all for able-bodied people getting their ass up and going to work. I am all for it. But then look at that double-edged sword. You ain't got no job. I was looking at when I was in those stores today. I was just sitting there like, boy, these people walking around here. Hell, I don't know. I'm not no expert, but all the doggone checkout lines are closed. Now they want you to go through, these automatic things. Then I'm watching the janitor's job go down. So they got these remote control AI damn sweepers going down the aisle. I'm like, shit, they ain't gonna be you ain't gonna be able to have no money to buy nothing from these people after a while.
Yeah. Because you would think in theory, if you had jobs available, and we have one of the lowest unemployment rates that we've had in forever now. Yeah. So if you had people with jobs making, as you say, a livable wage to pay for health care, to pay for food, to pay for daycare, to pay for all those things they need, you would in theory eliminate a ton of social programs.
Yes, indeed.
You would need the social programs to help them survive. But we haven't gotten to that point to where we're able to do those kind of things to give people a decent wage and stuff. And as you say, with a capitalistic way of doing business, as a corporation, your loyalties are to your shareholders and all. They're not to your employees.
Exactly.
You can't, they don't make decisions on how they're going to run their companies and things of that nature based on, what they can do for their employees. They've got to be able to go to the shareholders and show where they're making money. That's all about it. So you almost gotta
quarterly.
Yeah, yeah. It's just one of those kind of situations, and I'm not by any means saying that we got the worst system in the world. I mean, probably there's 90% of the rest of the world that I wouldn't even think about wanting to live in.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've created some of our own monsters the way we do things, and it's hard to go back and try to rein all that stuff in when they've gotten so big and they control so much of the you know economic wealth of our country. So yeah, that's where we've gotten ourselves. We're still a country of really haves and have-nots. The middle class has almost evaporated. I mean, there's still a bit of a middle class there, but yeah, that's just the way things have gotten to this point. And as you say, there's no easy answers. There's no you know legislative wand that someone could wave and make everything better. Yeah, there are people that I feel are abusing the system. You
No
know that
doubt.
that
At the top also.
yeah, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah that are abusing the system all the way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also look at it, the way my simple man has always said, I'm not abusing the system if I'm playing by your rules.
There you go.
If you set the rules and I play by your rules, how am I abusing the system? And a lot of times that's what we've done, especially with some of our social programs. We've set the rules to the point that people playing by the rules, that's they get the benefits they get because that's what you've done. That's how you set the rules.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just tough. I was talking about Barbara Ralph about that today. He's talking about how people around here can't afford the housing, especially buying a house, and it's even harder almost just to rent something. And he was talking about his mom and dad lived in this apartment. And they were complaining they were going up on the rent a little bit. And he said he told them he took a listing over there of apartments in this area for rent. And he said almost all of them about twice as much as they are paying. And he said,
Mhm.
if you're talking about moving somewhere, where are you going to move?
Right.
And they're in their probably 80s, or
Wow.
close to it. He said, where are you going to go? You don't, you're not living in uh, in heaven by any means. They're sort of older apartments and things. He said, but they keep them up nice. They don't have any problem with crime and things of that nature. So he said, so where are you going to go? And he
Mhm.
said, his dad looked at him and said, yeah, you're right. So we've got some of those problems around here with people being able to afford housing and things of that nature. And
Oh
like I
yeah.
said, it ain't. Yeah, I ain't gonna get no better. He was saying, he said, now Mickey, you in one of those positions where you bought your house at a time when the market was low and you've done well. He said, but he said, if you had to come in and buy a house now, do you think you could afford your house that you got now? I said, hell no, I couldn't afford the house I got now.
Uh-huh.
I said, but fortunately, I'm on the other end. You know,
Right.
I'm saying go. Prices go, go, go. Because I'm on the other end. But
That's
I
right.
said, if I was a new person just getting into home ownership or whatever it may be, I said, yeah. I said I would probably be looking at things really sort of bleak. I said, but fortunately at this point, we're not in that kind of situation. But it just makes it tough. Just makes
It
it tough.
does. It does, man. And you know, what do you say to people like that? It's based on decisions you made.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes it was uninformed decisions, and then other times it's just laissez-faire decisions. A lot of our people still walking through this world just don't know and don't really care to know, and
I
then
tell you.
deal with the consequences. And then, of course, anybody that didn't do that, they want to try to guilt you into, well, you're a damn lie. I come from the same shit you come from. Don't
Yeah.
give me that,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I was telling somebody, hell, I can't even remember now. We were just talking, and I said, it really surprises me, and I know I'm not getting I'm getting a sample of a lot of people, but I've also seen it myself. But you got a lot of folks that are jealous because their kids have opportunities that they didn't, and they carry that, and they guilt them, and it's just it just really surprises me. I shouldn't even call them parents. They got a lot of folks that had some kids that, you know, I think I told you one time about this girl, that young girl used to work with Rodney. She was about 18 years old. And her mama kept telling her, when you going to bring me some grandbabies up in here? I'm like, what kind of shit is that to be telling your daughter? You must be looking for another check.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I was like, I was telling Ralph, I said, there's been three young ladies at Tara jobs. She works at the office where they give driver's license and an ID and all that kind of stuff. State jobs. They're not paying, $1 million an hour. I mean, but they pay a decent wage. But a state job that gets you, the benefits that the state has, and
right,
gives you a little bit of security in the fact that if you stay in the system, you can retire out of the system. That's the same system Marion retired at the university and stuff. And the one that they end up firing, it went in and counseled her, and the first thing she said, they said, well, you just can't get to work on time. And she said, I've never had a job where I had to be to work on time. And another one came in, and Tara said she walked through the door and she told her, you need to go to the bathroom and put some perfume on or something. Said, you reek. Said she smelled so much like weed. It was pitiful. Wow. Said the supervisor called her in the office and said, you need to go take a piss test. And she said she told him, well, you might as well go ahead and write the paperwork up, because she knew she was going to fail it. Fired her, Stupid. And I'm thinking, jobs ain't easy to come by to start with.
That's right.
You got a place to where, you got into a system that's a pretty good system that allows you to move if you want, if you have the luxury of being able to move around, within the state, you can move into different agencies and
that's right.
and try to move up and better yourself and things of that nature. One of them just had a child. I mean, child is months old, and I'm thinking, what are you thinking? I just don't quite understand it. It's hard enough out there when you've got a good job and you're making decent money and things of that nature. Why do you go and just screw that up? Stupid. But it seemed like it didn't bother. None of them. It seemed like it wasn't a big deal at all.
They're rational. They're rationally thinking in their mind.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this is coming from for all of this. They live in a make-believe world, like the world is about them. We were talking one time about those reels that you see on Facebook.
Right.
Where you see them little short clips of stuff on there. Mm-hmm. I saw one the other day where this sister, she was doing like the brother that was doing down here, the one that died. God, I can't think of his name. Anyway, she was calling this sister out. She was like, so, she had her say something about herself. She had 3 kids. And she said from one father. She goes, no, 3 different fathers. And she asked her a couple other questions, but you get the gist about what she's about.
Right.
So what's a deal breaker for you and a man that's trying to get with you? Well, first of all, you can't have no kids. And because I don't want no mama drama and all this. And she just named off stupid stuff. And she said, oh, the woman even laughed. She said, oh, you want him to do what you can't bring to the table. She said, you can't come to the table with, what if he don't want no kids? You got 3 different daddies. But her logic, in her mind, she was right.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they that stupid? He can't have no kids. Oh, it was on the same premise as a man, too. It was about he had to make money, he had to make so much money and all this. I was like, I can't believe this, but people don't. They want to make excuses for a lot of these folks out here, but they are really that ignorant because they think the world is about them.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think the same thing, because some of the stuff that I've been seeing and hearing about, some of it I don't see because I ain't at the the job, but the stuff that I just be hearing, and I'm just thinking,
Yep.
yeah, I just don't know where it's coming from. It doesn't pass the logic test when you
No, it
talk
doesn't.
about it. It
No, it doesn't.
doesn't pass the logic test.
They haven't had any boundaries. I mean, just like who you think you fool? You come to work smelling like weed. You just hit your last toke before you got out the car. And you think that trail ain't following you? I mean, it's just dumb. I mean, the logic and like somebody's just supposed to overlook that.
Yeah. Well, just like getting to work on time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, since the first time I ever had a job, we had a time clock. It wasn't no matter of, well, I was here on time. No, you punched the clock. The
Yep.
clock told the story. It wasn't no, I was here on time kind of stuff. I mean, that's been the tenet of my work relationships from the first time I've had a real job,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But she felt like, wherever, I don't know, wherever she had worked, but that, getting to work on time wasn't a big deal. So she didn't know what all the fuss was about. And they said, well, it ain't gonna be no fuss no more because you gone. But I mean, I guess I'm just one of those kind of people that the first time they had something to say to me, I have to take a look at myself and say, okay, I've got to get to work on time. What do I need to do to make that happen? Do I need to set my alarm clock an hour earlier to make sure that if something comes up, I can get it? Whatever. Their mindset is, oh, I ain't never had to do it before, so why is it a big deal here?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I don't know. It just
I
it
just can't
frustrates you
fathom.
sometimes when uh, I I know there are issues and things that go on that sort of puts you behind the power curve. But when you do stupid stuff to yourself, that I just don't have a whole lot of sympathy for people like that.
No, I don't either. And those are included in thinking you can beat the system. The system has been here long before you, and it's going to be here long after you.
Yeah,
So your
yeah,
little hustle, it might work these 4 years, but the next 4 years, the chickens are going to come home to roost.
yeah, yeah.
And if you ain't figured that out, you're going to be on that seesaw for the rest of your dang life.
Right.
So
Or you don't realize that same hustle you trying to run. There's been others before you that's trying to run that same hustle.
yes,
This
sir.
is not nothing new, but you think you can get over because it's you.
Yeah, because
So
the
yeah.
world's been waiting for your wisdom. I just don't. I used to have empathy. I don't have no empathy now. When you say dumb stuff, I'm done with you. As far as being any kind of advocate for you, hey, I'm not going to work for no $10 an hour. Hell, they overpaying you if they paid your dumb ass $10 an hour.
Well, that's what I'm saying too. And I must admit, sometimes our government is our own worst enemy, those kind of thing, because
Yeah,
they can sit home and make $15-$20 an hour equivalents by just sitting home because they go file for unemployment or whatever things may
yeah,
be to get that kind of money. So I mean, you almost take the incentive for them taking those kind of jobs just to get their foot in the door and get started up the chain, because we give them, we supplement them when they do stupid stuff.
Well, see, the government started that when we started getting competitive for jobs. They made it easier for you to stay. I mean, with systemic racism, number one, but number two, I mean, you wouldn't get hired, or if you got hired, they already had that glass ceiling, you know, on your butt. But we fell for it. I'll never forget, my whole military career going home. Uh, and I know this crap ain't by just coincidence. This is by design. You know, you go home, you see some of your old boys. Hey man, what's up? Let's they want to know what you doing. Oh, yeah, I'm still in the military. No, you still in the army? No, I ain't no damn army. I'm in the Air Force. Okay, you know. All right, well, so what are you doing now? Oh man, I'm on disability. They start giving the disability out. So this brother, in a young age, has decided you're gonna be happy with $700 for the rest of your life, $700 a month. But hey, you getting over,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that it happened too much to be a coincidence. Is what I'm saying. You know, On a one-off, you hear somebody getting disability. Oh, okay, well, man, what happened? Or something like that. Hell, all them dudes around there. Now, I'm speaking from my little hometown down there, and uh, John Crow is still in full effect when you get to these little smaller municipalities
Oh yeah.
and even the bigger ones. But yeah, a lot of them dudes was getting off of there because then you're not competitive because when their little kid graduates from college, he comes in and steps in. There's a job waiting because your dumb ass and took disability. So it's
Yeah.
all
I saw it too where, I ain't gonna say where, but I think you
right.
know. But it
Right.
was the same. It was almost like it was the goal in life
Yeah.
was to get on disability.
Yep.
And and I'm like, well, I mean, I don't even understand the mindset to even think about why they think that was the way. But that's what they were going for. Disability. Gotta
Yep.
get on disability. Gotta get on disability. And like you say, they get that little check coming in and uh and things, and then like you say, they see, well, man, you did good. You had all the breaks and stuff. No, I didn't have all the damn breaks. I worked just as
Yep.
hard as you did, and I made some sound decision, but I didn't do all that just to get on disability. Say I got a check coming in.
Yep. Yep.
But that was sort of seemed like that was a mindset. It seemed like that
Oh
was
no.
almost a goal in life.
Oh yeah.
Where we talked about staying, 20 years in the military to get your retirement. Their thing was, I'm gonna get to the point where I can get me some disability.
Yeah.
Just
And
like I don't
and
know where
and,
that came from.
and happy as hell.
And just happy. They get that disability check and and get to the casinos. They happy. That's
And
their goal in life.
yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna be in town for a couple of weeks, man. I might stop by and holler. Where you at? Oh, I'm still over at Mama's house. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. But
yeah,
yeah, man. It's. I mean, we laugh, but it's really sad. But the thing of it is, it's choices.
well, yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
And
choices.
it's adult choices. It's not something that's placed upon you by anybody else or the government or
Right.
whatever. They're making informed decisions here.
That's right.
They're making informed decision, and that's their decision. And I guess in the state of the world, if they're fat and dumb and happy, I'm fat and dumb and happy. If
Thank
that's
you.
what you want to do, and that's your life, and you're okay with that, why should I be concerned?
Hey,
I guess that's what's. I
you
just
like
sort of,
it, I love it.
yeah. I just
You know.
started to get that mindset of, if you're happy, I'm happy. If that's the way the life you want to live, go for it. It's just not what I would want in my life, but if that's what you want and you're happy with it, who am I to say anything bad about it?
That's right. And the thing that really sets me off is there's so much information out here. There was a time when people didn't know better, but there's no reason not to know better now. You walk around with a $1,500 phone riding your bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
And got a wealth of information on that phone that you overpaid for, but you ain't looking past World Star and these gossip rag things, and looking at naked women. So, what is there for me to have empathy for you for?
Yeah, it's a little hard to have empathy for someone who has a good job and seems to do everything they can to lose it, or doesn't seem to care how important being in the job market can be these days. Well, that's life. That work ethic of the old days seem to be gone in some cases. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School. Till next time, this is Mickey G. Peace.